Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Moonridge Podcast. I'm here today with Ben from Heart of the North Brewing in Ladysmith, Wisconsin. It's near the old Smoky train line. I guess if you want to introduce yourself, tell yourself a little bit about your position, what you do there.
All right, well, like you say, my name's Ben. I work for Heart of the North Brewing Company. Been there since we opened up 6 years ago. How I got involved was Tommy, he's one of the owners. Him and Dad own the joint. Tommy and I went to high school together. And about the February before we opened, called me up. And he goes, hey, you want to show up for a beer tasting, Ben? And I said, sure, why not? And so I show up, and of course we proceeded to drink too much. And then I went home, didn't think anything about it. Well, a couple months later, he called me up, and he goes, hey, we're having a brew session. You want to come check it out? I said, sure. And, well, handed me a beer, put me to work, and been there ever since. So I know a lot of people, they'll ask, say whether I'm the head brewer or master brewer, assistant brewer, or whatever, but I actually consider myself more of a pilot brewer because we have the one barrel system that we brew on, and which we just can't keep up the demand on that. So we also have, we go down to Brewster Brothers, Chippewa, and shout out to Brewster Brothers, and brew on their 10 barrel system for the, to get more volume. But I predominantly just stay up here and work on the one barrel system.
Awesome. Neat.
Yeah.
Well,
What was it about the brewing process that drew you to it and kind of kept you in there with Tommy and Cliff and everybody else?
Well, so my brewing background is all self-taught. I started brewing, back in probably, probably close to 2010. It was actually my brother who got me into it.
Okay.
Him and I just got talking about it, and he said he had bought his first extract kit, and so I kind of started looking into it because, I love to drink beer too, and so yeah, him and I we'd actually never had a chance to brew together because he lives down at home in there, just north of La Crosse. But I was brewing, he was brewing, and then I got out of it for a while because the craft beer scene really started to explode around here, so I just wanted to drink everybody else's stuff, but I just like the process. I just enjoy doing it. I like, seeing what the finished product is. And I enjoy how, especially working at the brewery, I enjoy how beer has a tendency to bring people together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there's not anything I don't like about it. Except, I shouldn't say that. I don't like cleaning. Everybody hates that. That sucks. Fair. Cleaning kegs, that sucks. But it's a necessary evil.
Right. On a commercial system, the cleaning side isn't too bad. For the most part. I also started as a home brewer. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about the process from when you started as a home brewer to when you moved over into the commercial side, because there's a little bit of a difference there.
Well, because like I'm sure most people, you start out home brewing and everybody starts out with an extract kit. It's all syrups and stuff.
Yep.
and you gotta heat everything up because otherwise it doesn't come out of the jug, you gotta put it in a hot water bath and shit like that, but I guess for me, I guess I'm gonna segue here a little bit. Just the biggest difference for me between the home brewing and commercial brewing is I feel like I have more control over, I guess, the particular style I'm trying to accomplish. Like, I always find that home beers, especially using extract kits, have a sweeter note to them that I'm just not a big fan of,
100%.
But that's, a lot of that is, you don't have as much temperature control as you do on a commercial system, and
Right.
I know for like me, I like mashing in more around like 144, 145 degrees versus, the 156 or whatever.
Right.
That seems to be a common practice. And the reason being is because, it seems to have a drier finish.
Sure.
It doesn't have that sweet hang on the tongue.
When you're mashing in at that lower temperature, do you notice that you have to mash a little bit longer to get a full efficiency out of your grain, or do you think that the breakdown's still about the same?
It's about the same. Because usually I'll do, like like I said, I used to try to hit about 145, 146. Yep. Do that, sit there for half an hour, and then I end up bumping it up to 156. Trying to draw both the alpha and the beta amylase.
Yep.
And yeah, I never usually pretty close. When I'm shooting for my gravities and stuff like that, everything's usually pretty spot on. Mm-hmm. So unless I have the occasional element that goes out, and then I got other issues, equipment issues, stuff like that.
That's so fun.
Those fun surprises in the middle of a brew.
Oh, yeah. That one year, I think it was last spring, it was my first brew back from us shutting down for the winter. And I had, because it's an electric system, and we have 3 heating elements, 2 of the 3 went out. So that was exciting. Mm-hmm. Needless to say, I did not hit my efficiency on that brew set.
No. No. Luckily, some of our little equipment mishaps have happened at a time where it hasn't cost us a whole lot.
Yeah.
I can imagine that something like that would really throw your day off and kind of ruin it.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my finest, that's for sure. Luckily, I was brewing a blonde ale.
Okay.
So, it's got a lower...
Forgiving.
Right.
I think I was shooting for if I remember correctly, like a 4.8 for an ABV. Okay. And I think I ended up getting a 3.8 or a 4 or something. So, it was close enough, It was a lighter style beer anyway. So we just, we did basically called it something else, did a little something. It was a one-off, you know.
Yep.
And, people seem to enjoy it. So,
yep. Nice.
Starting with homebrewing, maybe trying different styles, or maybe you went out and tasted different styles. Is there anything that you keep coming back to, types you enjoy or ways of brewing?
Well, I'm an ale guy. I love IPAs. I love pale ales. That's always my default. Mm-hmm. But as far as home brewing, I don't do it so much at the pub. But as far as home brewing, I'm kind of a Frankenstein's monster. I remember my very first home brew I ever did. Well, there was 2 of them. So there was I'm trying to remember now. The first one was a pale ale. Can't remember the name of it now. But then the second was a brown ale. It was a Moose Drool clone kit.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I pitched the yeast, did the primary, transferred to secondary, and I threw in 10 ounces of Red Label Johnny Walker in it too at the same time. Let's just see what the hell happens,
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I like to just mess around with stuff, And I actually had one. I think it was my 3rd brew I ever did. It was a wee heavy, and instead of I remember these are 5-gallon batches,
right?
And so a wee heavy is a big beer, anyways. I think it was supposed to be originally 11.1 or 11.2 or something like that. Well, that one of the secondary, I threw in 16 ounces of Black Label Johnny Walker in it. And I remember after the first 2 weeks after conditioning in bottles, I opened the first one up. I'm like, oh, shit, this is bad. This is terrible. This is undrinkable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll just let it sit. Let it go for, of course, at the time I didn't understand, when you're adding liquor to beer and stuff, it takes a lot longer for things to condition. And,
mm-hmm.
But so a couple months went by, tried it again. It's it's still terrible, but it's not as bad. The 6-month mark hit. It just kept getting better until it hit about a year, and I thought, holy crap, this is, it was spot on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, to be honest with you, I think I still have a bottle laying around somewhere, and that's been 15 years ago.
Oh, boy, I bet you that thing's ripe.
Oh, that thing's terrifying now. I don't think I'm ever going to go anywhere near it.
I know my wife orders a bunch of beer from, apps and things like that, and we were going through our beer fridge the last week and noticed that there was a couple of beers that were from 2020. So it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Do you notice that your tastes change with the seasons, or do you typically stick with ales? I typically stick with ales or IPAs myself, but just more curious. Do you change as the seasons kind of change?
Yeah, definitely. My taste changes. I still usually default back to ales and
mm-hmm.
Pale ales and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that. But I always find that once the weather starts getting cold, I like going towards stouts, porters, browns and stuff
mm-hmm.
like that. And then in the spring once things warm out, then I go back to predominantly ales and pale ales.
Absolutely.
throw in the occasional blonde or Kolsch or, whatever. But
drinking and brewing, or does your brewing style kind of relatively stay the same year throughout the year?
Just try to appease the masses.
I mean, the brewing style throughout the year, it pretty much stays the same. I mean, like during the, when the fall starts to hit, we have our peanut butter porter called Black Sails at Midnight. That's when I start coming up with that. Our lumberjack stout. But then, during the summertime, then we, go more to, bringing the blonde back, bringing, the heft back. We dabble a little bit with Kolsch now and then. But predominantly, I mean, it pretty much stays the same most of the year.
Yeah. How has your brewing process evolved throughout the years? What have you learned?
Well, I guess I go back to it. The biggest thing for me learning was, mash temps. Like I said, we've even done like protein rests before and stuff like that. We've dabbled with that a little bit. Don't really do that anymore, but that, in my opinion, that is the biggest difference or biggest change in my brewing style. Because when we first started, we did the typical, 156 or whatever,
Right.
And actually, working with Robert down there at Brewster Brothers, that's when we got dabbling more into adjusting our temperatures for the mash and whatnot. That's definitely the biggest thing.
What was the motivation for the, other than, from Robert also obviously has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
What was it about adjusting the temps that he kind of taught you guys that made the difference?
Well, just talking about a drier finish to a beer.
Okay.
Because I mean that's kind of our thing. Yep. I mean, we do have beers that we brew that are sweeter. Pale ales and what one particularly that I can think off the top of my head. We have a Kickstart My Heart. I have done that one in a couple of years, but that's one that people love. It's a very sweet beer.
Right.
It tastes like, for me, like I'm drinking a Werther's Original, which, don't get me wrong, I love Werther's Originals, but tell you what, I'm not really looking for that in my beer personally,
No.
That's predominantly the big thing with it.
Just attacking the start so you get the proper finish that you want on every beer and just maintaining it that way.
Yep.
You say it's kind of the signature of the style of yourself and Heart of the North?
I would think so, yeah. We even do that when it comes to like our stouts and stuff. We have we just like that drier finish. We think it makes a better beer, more drinkable beer.
Crisper.
It's crisper,
Okay.
I mean, obviously people disagree. I mean, that's the one great thing about beer and stuff, and everybody's got their own palate, I mean.
And there's beer out there for everybody.
There really is, I mean, we've had a lot of people that come in and say, oh, I don't like ales, or we'll go to beer fest, and actually one that always blows people away is our Maverick, our double dry hop pale ale. It's a funny story about that. So it was when Cliff and I designed that beer. It was when Sam Adams had their Wicked Hazy had came out.
Okay.
And we actually had that on tap at the time. And we brewed the Maverick. And actually we originally called it Dragon Spit. Because, well, our flagship, chasing dragons, so we were kind of trying to keep with that dragon theme. And we kegged it and conditioned it and everything, and carbonate conditioned it, and we poured the first pint. And I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, pour me that Wicked, Cliff. He poured me a Wicked, and I got a pint of each. We accidentally came up with a Wicked Hazy clone kit. But then we kept calling it Dragon Spit there for a while, and people didn't like the name. So then the movie Maverick came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tommy was like, "Yep, we're changing to Maverick," which is fine. But we go to beer fests, and we get a lot of people who come to us. Oh, I don't like ales, I don't like pale ales, It's like, just try this. Try the Maverick.
Right,
and I mean, 9 times out of 10, people are just like, they keep coming back for more of it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So
how long did it take you to land on the temperature that you guys did? Was there a lot of playing around with it? Have you gone lower?
Yeah, we've actually gone all the way down to, if I remember correctly now, I think the lowest I've gone is like 120.
Okay.
But like I said, we were, you know, kind of dabbling with the protein rest then, you know, because I remember I think we would do, man, like I said, it's been a few years since I've done that. But I think we'd start like 120 and then it'd sit there for like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Oh, pardon me. And then I think we went to 142 and then we'd bump up to 156 or something like that. You know, something along that line.
Did you notice any difference in like clarity as you were playing with protein rests or anything?
Personally, not really. No, I never did. I mean, some people might disagree with me, but I didn't really notice any difference.
Fair.
So, but you know, I'm back to your question. That was, I mean, it was within like the first year and a half we started to dabble around with that. Yeah. Because that's when, I mean, within the first year and a half, 2 years, because that's when we started working down at Brewster Brothers, you know, because we realized pretty quickly that, oh, shit, we don't have the capacity, you know. So that's when that kind of all came about.
Yeah.
Nice.
So are you just brewing up at the physical location?
Me personally, yes.
Or are you also helping down?
I mean, occasionally we'll go down there if time allows me to, because between my full-time job and then, you know, trying to keep the things going up here brewing-wise, I don't get down to Brewster Brothers very often. I mean, to be honest with you, I probably once or twice a year is all I get down there to work out with or help out with that. But yeah, typically whenever we gotta go brew down there, Cliff goes down there, that's how that usually goes.
That's fair.
I kind of just want to jump back quick, if it's all right, to like your community in general. We kind of talked about like how everyone has their own tastes, and you know, each person has their preferences. You prefer ales. Mm-hmm. Is there any trends you kind of see within like your customer base, the industry that you want to follow?
I don't see so much trends in beer styles particularly. I mean, I guess in my opinion, what I see, you know, you get more trendiness with beer styles through the seasons, like we were talking earlier. I mean, like when the weather gets colder, you know, I kind of gravitate more towards stouts and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Where I see more of the trendiness is more different, you know, when it comes between beer and liquor, you know, beer and spirits, you know. I mean, and I feel like that's just an ongoing thing, you know. I mean, when COVID hit, you know, the craft beer scene just exploded, and you know, that carried on for a few years, and now it seems like, you know, beer sales are starting to go down, but now not because, I mean, and not that people are drinking less, they're just going towards, you know, mixed drinks, cocktails, you know, and that seems to be pretty. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but in my opinion, from what I've witnessed, especially at the brew pub, that's what I've witnessed. Mm-hmm. But as far as the beer styles themselves, I mean, they pretty much just stick. You know, I mean, especially up here, you know, people love their Coors Light, their Busch Light. I mean, that's not going anywhere, you know. So, yeah, I mean, people, they like what they like.
Absolutely. I do notice that we have a pretty strong craft beer community up here in the Northwoods. Mm-hmm. You know, I find that, especially with brewers, there's always one beer that has gotten a brewer into the craft beer community. Mine was Newcastle. You know, when I was like 18 years old, sneaking beers. Well, I probably shouldn't say that. We got to bleep that. But when I was 21 years old, just first getting into craft beer and things, you know, we used to go to the Class 6 on base, and we used to buy a case of Newcastle. What beer or craft beer would you consider that actually got you into it, and when? Not 18, obviously.
No, mine was probably more like 16. No, I'm sure. No, you know, that's a great question. And oh man, to be honest with you, I couldn't really think of one. I mean, trying to look. I mean, had a lot of head injuries in my life, so my memory's not that great.
That is fair.
But no, I mean, like, you know, I can't really say there was one particular beer that drew me into it. It was just I guess for me, going back to, with my brother, it was just kind of the camaraderie between my brother and I. It was another thing that him and I could,
that's awesome.
Could bond with.
Right.
And that, I think that was the big thing for me.
He doesn't ever come up here and make beer with you at Heart of the North?
No, unfortunately, we have never had an opportunity to brew together.
Oh,
Why not? Holman's not that far.
No, you're right. It's not that far. Actually, my brother, he doesn't really brew much anymore. He's got his own business down La Crosse. Shout out to Fitness Lying Down.
Nice.
He's I don't even know how long he's had that now, but he's got his hands full with that, and he's got the family. He's a pretty busy man.
Awesome.
He's a very, very busy man. So. I think here a couple of years ago, my sister-in-law had bought him a couple kits, and he actually had to borrow a bunch of my old homebrewing equipment that I hadn't been using. And of course, then my lovely niece decided to paint the inside of everything with glitter glue. So
fun.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. So, me
step
and Ben,
up, Nick, come on.
Me and Ben have been friends now for a little while. We actually met up at Heart of the North Brewing Company. Me and Nicole, we moved up to Ladysmith. We've told that story probably 20 times now. But, you guys were one of the first people that actually welcomed us not only into the community but into the craft beer community.
Aww.
So I just want to say thank you for being awesome.
No problem, man. Well, it helps. You're a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But do you find that as like the community norm up in Ladysmith? As a whole. Or are you guys just the outliers?
I think so, but I think you find that pretty much everywhere you go, in my opinion. It just depends on where it's at, per se. Like, you guys found it at the Heart of the North, like, for instance, I just went, come back from Chicago. My wife and I were down there for a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
This weekend. Unfortunately, I had to suffer some abuse from the Bears fans. But
unfortunately, the Packers did lose.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I still found a place down there, even though I'm quote unquote was the enemy. We're I wish I could remember the name of the establishment we were at though, but everybody was super nice, super welcoming. You're gonna find that, I think, no matter where you go.
I guess I bring that up because it seems that most breweries tend to be a good spot for people to kind of navigate to, especially if you're new to an area and things like that. Go to the local brew pub.
Well, and
try a beer, a pizza, meet a couple of the locals, because it always seems to be a good conglomeration of decent people.
Well, like I touched on it earlier about how I just love how the beer community, it brings people together. And in places like like breweries and stuff like that, you are going to run into a different demographic of people. You're not really going to run into troublemakers. Obviously there's always an exception to the rule.
Right.
Always an exception to the rule. But usually people in breweries, brew pubs and such, they're pretty laid back, decent people. I totally agree. It is a fantastic place to meet people, like-minded individuals, and even not like-minded individuals.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've known lots of people, that come in and out of the brew pub that come from different backgrounds, whether it's religious or political or whatever it is. It just seems like, once you throw in a couple craft beers, nobody really gives a shit. And everybody's just like, hey, we're just having a good time.
Absolutely.
You're way more than just that.
Right.
There's we all got so many layers to ourselves, and we're more than just our political affiliation or religious background or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that no matter what brew pub you go into or what brewery you go into, who you are or who you're looking to talk to, whether it's being a a member of the brewing industry going in there and introducing yourself to somebody new that's in a new town or whatever, like when you were in Chicago or wherever you might be, or the people that you're sitting down having a beer next to.
Yeah.
It always kind of seems to bring it all to that, and nothing else matters. It's pretty cool. Everybody's always pretty happy and pretty welcoming, especially when you get a couple beers in you.
Well, I mean, it helps. I mean, you're at a place like this because, well, you like beer.
Yep.
I mean, you don't go to a place like this. I mean, yeah, okay. Like you guys here at Moonridge, you also have fantastic pizzas, you know.
Right.
But
thank you, by the way.
You're welcome. But yeah, like at the Heart of the North, I mean, you know, the beer is. I mean, again, I like to think we have pretty good pizzas too. But anyways,
I've eaten a handful.
Yeah, I mean, 1 or 2,000. I don't know. There's a reason I am not a skinny man. But you know, the beer is what always comes first. But you know, you walk into a place like this, and the fact that you're looking for a beer, I mean, you've found commonality at that point.
Yep.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so, that's a great place to start.
It is. Just one thing's all it takes.
Yep.
So before we wrap up here, I just want to make sure to give a big shout out to Ben's son, Benny. He is down at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse currently in their ROTC program. Currently looking to enlist in the United States military, so huge shout out to him. And,
thank you.
And Godspeed.
Thank you.
So at that point, Ben, thank you so much, brother, man. We appreciate you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me on, man.
A little bit of time with us to talk about beer and what you like about beer. But at this point, I believe we're going to pass it off to Asher for our closeout. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for having me.
All right, yeah. Thanks for coming in. Before we let our listeners go here, is there anything you want to share with them on stuff coming up?
Well, as far as at the pub, I guess really the only big thing coming up is I believe sometime in mid-February is when we're going to be opening back up. You know, just keep an eye on Heart of the North Brewing Company on Facebook. Tommy, I'm sure, will be posting some things on there about, you know, when we're actually going to be opening. And, you know, that's a good place to look, too, if you're looking for any upcoming events that we have going on, you know, because we have live music during the summer and other events and so on and so forth. So if anybody's interested in finding out what's going on, you know, check that out on Facebook, Heart of the North Brewing Company.
Exciting new beers for the summer?
We have some ideas. I've been talking to Cliff and Tommy about, because we also go down to, we get invited to IPA Fest in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Third Space throws that on. And, you know, last 2 years, we've brought Chasing Dragons down there. And, you know, I'd like to see if we can come up with something else, you know, to bring down something new. I mean, we're always really well received down there. We actually... we missed out on the People's Choice Award down there last year by, I think it was like 1 vote or something like that.
Sucks.
Yeah, we should have voted for ourselves. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be something in the works.
Awesome.
I'm not going to share anything specific, but there'll be something
Don't
in the
ruin the
works.
surprise.
Looking forward to
Yep.
it, but give them something to think about.
Play it close to the vest. Yep, just
All right.
hold it right there.
Check out IPA Fest.
IPA Fest,
Meet them
exactly.
yourself.
All right. Well, I'm just going to end with this here then, guys. If you do come into the brew pub here in Cornell, we are giving a free beer through February if you are wearing a Moonridge t-shirt. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks again for coming on, Ben.
Make sure you mention the podcast.
Make sure to mention the podcast for that.
While
free
wearing
beer.
that t-shirt.
Yep.
The most important part right there.
Oh, yeah. Like, share, and subscribe.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and see you guys out.